Yo, so today we're checking a wireless 60% bare bones kit, the Zuoya GMK61. Do note that it also has a pre-built version that comes in both black and white colorways, consisting of switches made by PAIGU and some generic cherry keycaps if you feel lazy building one from the ground up. To open up the box, we got the board itself, a manual, a fancy carbon switch and keycap puller, and a braided USB-C cable. The keyboard itself is light as expected, really nice if you're planning to have a carry keyboard with you at all times. The paint finish is smooth to the touch and the aesthetics of this board are minimalist and simple, with an LED strip on the side and a box on wedge design. This also has 2-stage flip-up feet. For the back, it has a switch to shuffle between 3 modes, the USB-C plug, and the dongle itself. Before opening up the board, I just want to test out how it sounds right out of the box. For the switches, I'll be trying these Zuoce Bubblegum switches for the first time. For its specs for the nerds out there, these have a palm stem, a modified palm on the top housing, and a full nylon on the bottom. It has a 22mm spring, actuation force of 37 grams, and a bottoming out force of 45 grams, with a pre-travel of 1.8 meters and a total travel of 3.5 meters. And then for the keycaps, I'll just be using these no brand wall keycaps that I have lying around. And this is the stock sound of the keyboard. The board sounds decent out of the box. Some stabilizers needed a bit of tuning, but everything seems fairly good. It was kind of a struggle to open this keyboard up. The most efficient way I've found to open this is to push the top frame inside of the house, then it just snaps up of its own. Opening up the keyboard, make sure not to rip the cables beneath the PCB. For the mounting style, they have swapped out the gasket strips with gasket sleeves, which is honestly a great switch that they made. For the case internals, it comes with a soft foam sheet in a silicone mold that gives it that heft. Removing the plate from the PCB, we can see that there are 4 screws to remove. Now you have your standard power on plate foam, IXPE sheet, and this plastic sheet that is stick to the top part of the PCB, which we will remove. The PCB thickness is 1.5mm, which is not that common for PCB thickness. I also swapped out the stock stabilizers with clip-in PAIGU stabilizers because I have them lying around. However, take in mind that the clip-ins I ordered, which are 1.6mm stabilizers, do not secure in that much, even with the knobs that tighten the housing. So I had to swap the housings to 1.2mm housing, which did the job perfectly. Don't ask why I have some spare 1.2mm. For this build, we will try a no foam configuration to see if this keyboard can hold onto its own without relying on foams. Now we just assemble back the whole board, and this is how it sounds without foams. The keyboard surprisingly held itself without foams. I was honestly shocked since I expected it to be a bit thin, though it did sound kinda hollow, so if you're going with a clacky build you should add some foams inside the case. For the final remarks, the board overall sounds incredible with both foam and no foam builds. You can configure the foams and mod the keyboard to your preference. Price on this is insane for what you're getting, honestly. And it's a beginner friendly keyboard to have. Though the two graphs I have, the 1.5mm PCB does get confusing, especially when you're deciding what clip and stabilizer thickness to get. In my opinion, probably the safe bet for clip-ins is to get the 1.2mm thickness. I hope they change the god-awful clip mount system that the case has because it's so hard to open up the case. Overall, this is my take on reviewing this keyboard. I'll leave a link on where to get your hands on the parts that were featured in this video. If you enjoyed, make sure to subscribe to the channel, which helps me out a lot. Thank you for watching.